aircraft, and we'll have over 50 aircraft on the CRJ-700s as we take them from Envoy. And we have presently 54 CRJ-900 next generation aircraft. And just recently in April, American exercised an option for 15 more of those aircraft that will start arriving in April of next year. And as they arrive, we will start to retire our oldest CRJ-200 aircraft. So you kind of get a glimpse into our future. We're going to be a two-class large RJ operator for American. We have a committed fleet plan that will take us to 150 aircraft, but it's our intention to build an airline that's worth investment, continued investment by our parent American. And we have aspirations to grow larger than 150 aircraft and potentially take us into new markets and new hubs in the future as a principal provider of regional lift for American. Along the way, we've made heavy investments, not only in the aircraft and the refurbishment of some of the interiors of the aircraft. We've also invested heavily in infrastructure, maintenance bases in particular. We've gone from having 2 maintenance bases to 8 starting next week. We will open our 8th maintenance base in Pensacola, Florida. And as our network has taken us geographically longer stage lengths with the larger RJs, we found it necessary to open bases both in the north and in the south. So we opened Cincinnati, we opened Norfolk, Savannah, Greenville Spartanburg, sorry, and now we're going to be opening in Pensacola. So you've heard a lot about, and certainly you've done a fair amount of looking into the fact that not only is there a tight supply on pilots in this country, there's also a tight supply of qualified technicians, A&Ps, in the marketplace. And so we've got a lot of efforts underway to develop pipelines, much like we have at PSA for the pilot side of the business. We're investing in transition programs, military transition programs for folks coming out of the military and embarking on a commercial career. That now extends to A&Ps, which we will fund their transition out of the military into commercial as long as they sign up and work with us for 3 years. We think it's a great opportunity for them to get into the business, and we've seen really good subscription levels to this program we just launched about 60 days ago or so. Pensacola is in great shape. Like I said, we're opening it next week and ready for business. So we continue our growth journey next year. So as I mentioned, we'll retire 15 of the CRJ-200s, and we'll take 15 brand new CRJ-900s. And that takes us through the 2019 year. We'll hold on to those 200s. They're sort of mission specific for us as we look out for the next couple of years. But we're looking forward to a point where we can retire that entire subfleet and move forward to have an all 2-class RJ fleet in the 2021 or so timeframe. So really exciting for the company. Again, a carrier that played a smaller role for U.S. Airways Express for the better part of a decade has now become the 2nd largest regional provider for American. And we're doing it with a product that looks like it is the right one for the long run. One that has the capacity up to 76 seats, a true first-class product, an airplane that can fly 1,500 miles if necessary, and do so well. So we really like our positioning. We really like the trust that American has put in us, and we're intent on making good on that trust and delivering a product that they can be proud of. So with that, I'll open it up for questions. Yes, ma'am.
As you eliminate the 50-seaters from your fleet, does that mean you're going to have to change the configuration of your markets? I mean, if you're flying to a little community and you're depending on filling up a 50-seat jet,
right,
can you turn around and then say, we're going to fly there with a bigger jet and see if that works? Or will you have to take another look at your markets that you serve?
Yeah, that's a great question. And obviously, those decisions are made by the network planning folks at American, right? We fly where we're called to fly, but your point is correct. American will have the need for 50-seat capacity in its domestic network for a really long time. They'll find a provider to do that in the long run. It won't be us. We will then be transitioned to sort of larger mid-sized markets, perhaps longer haul flights out of Charlotte, DC, and the other places that we fly. And so we'll see a natural upgrade. And that will take us to new cities. It will take us into new regions in the country, most likely. But American will solve their 50-seat capacity through a different option in the long run. Yes, sir.
Is the pilot shortage an impediment to your growth, or as a subsidiary of American, does that sort of shield you with being able to talk about a path through?
It presently is not a constraint. It was in the past. It was a disruptor for us in 2015 and 16. We have thankfully solved that, and part of it, as you alluded to, is our association, our wholly owned structure with American, by which it affords us, we believe, a competitive advantage that's very relevant in the pilot sourcing market, which is a flow-through agreement with American. Every year, PSA gives American 120 of our most qualified captains, and we can, on the recruiting trail, suggest to folks who are interested in coming to PSA to be prepared for the last interview of their career. When they hire us, or when we hire them and they come on board with us, we start a process of training and familiarization with the systems we use, the terminology we use, the platform, including the tablet technology, that all looks very similar to that American uses as they train their pilots. So a pilot who joins PSA knows they're in an environment that's going to be familiar. They have a pretty clear career path, and it's going to be about 6 years, and they should get a call from American to go join that airline if that's where they want to go. So yeah, it has been helpful for us.
So you created the pathway was created after, like in 16, 17?
You're going to catch me on this. I think we signed our original flow-through agreement in 2015, and we have increased the amount of commitment to that program since that we originally signed that deal. So now we do give them 120 pilots a year. Yes?
In addition to your military transition program, you have the rotor transition program on the pilot side. How's that going?
That's great. Thank you. I forgot to mention that. That's actually where the military transition on the mechanic side came from. We had unforeseen success with the rotor transition program on the pilot side that we launched last year. We now have about 250 pilots who have joined us through that pipeline. And again, varying based upon how much fixed-wing experience a rotor candidate might have, they can come to us relatively quickly. We have had good success with folks making that transition to the jet. And as a matter of fact, I was in Charlotte last week for a Crew News Town Hall, and I ran into Mr. Marshall, who was our very first RTP candidate. He's flying the line and doing a fantastic job. So that's been a very fruitful resource for us on the pilot side. Yes?
Notice the Bombardier is featuring the new interior for their CRJ 900s. Are you taking the new interior with the order that you have?
We are. So we'll take our first CRJ 900 with the Atmosphere interior in April of next year. And that's a great, if you've had a chance to get on that airplane, it's a fantastic interior. I think they've done some meaningful improvements to the interior of that aircraft, namely their ability to store bags, IATA, or even slightly larger than your IATA size roller board. All first class seats, effectively, you'll be able to store your bag wheels in on the overhead bins, and then the majority of carry-on luggage in the back of those aircraft can be carried as well. So we see what the future looks like for the interior of the CRJ platform, and it looks really good from a product perspective. It's a fantastic aircraft. Obviously, we like the 900, and we look at these as material improvements for the customer experience on board. So again, we'll take our first one in April of next year and go into service the following month. Anybody else? Great. Thank you guys for the time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.